Hello, hello, hello. This is your African diaspora teacher coming from the School of the Hard Knocks, where issues are looked at, psychoanalyzed, and then revealed to our common understanding. You see, Burkina Faso is in the news again. But first, let me remind y'all, the listeners, that there's something going on in West Africa that is bordering on blackmailing. Why am I saying this? Our national military or various armies from all the nations within West Africa are being blackmailed as units of inaction. For instance, Nigeria has been battling Boko Haram, aka France, for a long time. That when General Buhari came to power, it's on record that he said Boko Haram is being handled by an international entity, but he fell short to mention the nation, which is France. Okay, this is how the blackmailing of our national army, takes shape. You have thugs terrorizing your territory, kidnapping school children, raping them, and national armies in these areas, whether it's in Cameroon or in Chad or Central African Republic and Nigeria, now Mali and Burkina Faso, become all of a sudden the soldiers cannot do anything. Soldiers took oath, or soldiers always they take oath that they're gonna, protect the integrity of their country. That's the reason why they choose to be soldiers, military men, airmen, marines, or navy, ready to take down any threat to the national integrity or their country. But it seems like anytime thugs that have been given arms to terrorize people in the name of Islamic jihad, or whatever they call it, thugs, all of a sudden, Nigeria army can do nothing. The Malian army can do nothing. The Chadian army can do nothing. Cameroonian army can do nothing. But Cameroon is busy fighting its own people in the southern part of the Amazonia, heavily fighting. But Cameroon cannot seem to fight Boko Haram. Okay. Central African Republic facing the same thing until they have to bring in the Russians. Mali have to do the same thing because the Malian army were being labeled as cowards who cannot protect the territorial integrity of their country. The army don't like that because that is their job to do. Okay, their job to do, but a president in all this country who claim that they are the commander-in-chief for this country's military get order from Paris or from England or from wherever to stay out of this thing because this is not your fight. We will come and fight it for you. You see, so the army, any serious army, will feel like, what are we here for? What are we here for? Any serious army, national army, will ask the question, why France have to come, people have to come from, French army have to come from all the way from France to come and fight a war which is threatening our territorial integrity, and we are here 30,000 strong, 40,000 strong, 50,000 strong. Some are up to about 100,000 strong. What are we doing every day? And then France will come and stay around for 10 years and nothing is being done. So Malians took the matter into their own hands. The Guineans took the matter into their own hands. Nigeria is being under pressure not to do anything. Nigeria is the elephant, the biggest, the elephant of Africa. Nigeria is the big brother of Africa. So if Nigeria with 200 million people or 180 million people cannot fight thugs, how can they protect West Africa? How can you be a big brother and some thugs are kicking your ass? Look at it in this scenario. Look at it in this scenario. You have a family. You are maybe 10 sons of your father and mother. You are 10 with maybe a couple of women, or 12. 10 strong boys and 2 sisters, making 12. And you have this bully, neighborhood bully, who come and mess around, take your chicken and things like that. Anytime you want to fight it, the elders of the town come together and say, oh, handle it okay. These are we all neighborhood people, they intervene. Then you let go of these thugs, which all of you, 12 of the family, 10 boys and 2 sisters, are capable of handling these thugs who come and take your chicken, rob you, and do things. Then the elders who come, rush and come and say, oh, leave them alone. No, they don't mean it. Everything will be taken care of. We will take care of it. We, the town people, will take care of it. And this is a family matter. Then, like in the case of Burkina Faso, you call these thugs. You want to do them. Then the town people came, the elders came, rush you, and say, leave them alone. We will take care of it. And they are not taking care of it. So the next time, what happened? They came again. Now they are reaching out for your sister and they are reaching out for your mother. Then you say, hell no. Hell no. You elders and all the kings and everybody, the queens and everybody of the town, we ain't listening to you no more. And that is what happened in Burkina Faso. When Burkina Faso took power from the government based on the fact that they've been belittled, they've been humiliated. The military, they've been humiliated by these thugs called Boko Haram, because the president, who was by then the chief of defense, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, is not doing anything. So they took him out so that they could, mash out the situation as they see fit as a national army, because that is their job, not France. But what happened? The elders of West Africa rushed them, softened up their head, and put a civilian over him for so-called transition. Then guess what? What France does best. The thugs came again, and this time around, they humiliated the national army by killing 10 of their people. And this young man said, no, this thing has been going on for years and our people have been killed. We cannot fight these people because the commander-in-chief is not giving us what we need to fight this war, which we swore oath to do. The territorial integrity of Burkina Faso is our job to protect, not France. The commander-in-chief, who is a civilian, who never been in the military before, who never knew how to even hold a gun, is the one making decision how the soldiers could fight and how France could position itself to fight. And the fight is not coming to an end. When they intervene and things seems like it's simmering down, here comes France and it's Boko Haram again. Now, they killed 10. The trick is, when we come and cause much havoc, we will make the military look like they cannot fight this thing, because they are trying to kick us out of Africa. They are coming to kick us. The young people are trying to kick us out of their country. So when we hit them harder this time, kill 10 of their own military people, the town people, the youth, will say, oh, you see, you can't even fight this thing. So bring France back again. Bring back France is the reason why these 10 soldiers were killed by an ambush. Okay, and the youth, the military, the youngs, the junior soldiers are saying, no, we're not going to take this thing. The person that we put over there as our head, and the person, and he's been touched by Buhari and the rest of the leaders in West Africa, ECOWAS. They rushed in, and being Africans, we listen to our elders. They put pressure on him until they soften him up. So when they soften him up, nothing he could do, because each time they rush over there, the elders, the so-called leaders, will rush him and then soften him up. Then France hit harder again, killing 10 of his people. Then the young people say, no, this is not what we are looking for. We want to crush these people. We can fight it. This is what we do as national army. But today, everybody's looking at the armies of West Africa as cowards who cannot protect their nation. But soldiers are not, they don't think like that. Every soldier thinks my job is to protect my nation. Every soldier, even the most coward, because every day their captains, their brigade leaders, enforce that courage in them. That this is what you are here for. This is not a party. This is not a party. This is not Boy Scout. This is not a Boy Scout. You are military men to take. So every day they tell them something, but when the real threat is becoming imminent, their hands are tied because of commandant-in-chiefs who have never been in any war, never knew how to hold a gun before. Buhari was a military man, General Buhari. But all this war going on in Nigeria, Buhari never put up a military uniform to go over there and even give moral support as president of Ethiopia did. The young man in Ethiopia put on a uniform, go to the Tigray region to give, moral support until things calm down. For over 10 days, over 2 weeks, he's been there to give moral support. He put on military uniform. Bush did it. All American presidents who call themselves commander-in-chief always go to the war front unannounced before you see they are on either on a ship wearing military jackets just to give moral support. They will go there sometime Thanksgiving, Christmas time, unannounced before you see they are in Iraq, before you see they are in Afghanistan, before you see they are in Syria. If they are calling themselves commander-in-chief, is because even if they've never been to war before, Obama never been a trained military man before, so was Clinton, and so was, sometime Bush W. But his father was a CIA director and war veteran. All of them been to war one way or the other, or joined the military one way or the other. You see? Even the Queen's grandsons, they took them to Afghanistan, though they will be far away, but at least on their resume, they said, we went to war. They wear military uniform. Yeah. Prince Charles or King Charles' son, all of them went to Afghanistan. They may be far away from, fire, but at least they put on uniform. So on their CV one day, they will say, hey, I've been to war. I've been to this. At least they went to a battlefield to see how, the reaction is. Most of our leaders who call themselves, in exception of few people who from military turn to president, never see a gun before. Let's be honest. And the people that they choose around themselves, it's not unlike America, where if you never been to a war before, like Clinton or Obama, you surround yourself with hawks, warhead, people who are ready to fight. Even if they know the war won't go their way, but they are ready. But in our situation, most of our presidents never been to any war, never been to military, And they surround themselves with people who are anti-military because they know the military is, they don't like military. Most of these civilian leaders don't hate the military. So whenever they come and have the title of a commander-in-chief, the first thing they do is to make the military look like a sissy. Unfortunately, Buhari is doing the same thing. Buhari never put on a military uniform, even though he's a general, and go to the battlefield to give moral support. But no, he rather looking for Americans to support him fight this war on terror, because that's what they tell him to call it. But it's no war on terror. This is a war on your territory. War on terror, my ass. You see? War on Nigeria. And Nigerian soldiers don't want to fight it. War on Burkina. And Burkina Faso don't want to fight it. War on Mali. No war on terror. You see? This is the situation going on. You see? And listening to one man called Nana Obiri Buahim, a Ghanaian, a politician or, a statesman, asking some serious questions about how the West African leaders are quick to go and question, situations, but nothing is changing. When 10 military men were killed in Burkina Faso, they didn't go. They didn't make no statement. So he was asking, how is it that 47 Côte d'Ivoire armies were spotted in Mali and were arrested? The West African leaders went to Mali and say, release them. He asked the question, at least they should be tried. What are they doing in Mali, all the way from Côte d'Ivoire or Ivory Coast? So he asked the questions. He asked the question, would Nigeria do the same thing? Would Ghana do the same thing if Chadian soldiers, 10 Chadian soldiers or 20 Chadian soldiers were found in Ghana? Would Ghana just release them without trial, without knowing what they are there for? But he said this is what West African ECOWAS leaders went over there in Mali, that release the people. They didn't say try them. What are they doing over there? Release them. Release them for what? So that everything will just be, become normal. Are they there to destabilize the country? Were they there? Were they part of the Boko Haram? They said, no, release them. This is Nana Obiri Buahim, in his interview with I think a radio presenter in a local language, so a lot of people may not understand it. But he's worried. Nana is worried about, even though he's worried. These are questions he needs answers for. He's not saying he supports the military regime in Mali or Burkina Faso, but he's saying something is going on. He even asked the question that when Guinea went the other way, guess who is in a plane to go and mediate the matter, including the West African heads of state? Ouattara. Ouattara, who changed constitution to go the third time. No ECOWAS leader questioned him. When the Guinean president did the same thing and killed people, when the masses said they're not going to agree on this thing, a lot of people were slaughtered in demonstration. West Africa people, leaders didn't go over the en masse. And it went on as if nothing. Third term. So when the coup went on, Nana Obiri Buahim is asking, how could Ouattara, who did the same thing, could be even in a plane to go over there and mediate? And some other West African countries close to Ghana, whose elections were all the time questionable. Yeah, he mentioned their name. I'm not here to mention no name. You see, he said their elections are all the time questionable. But they sent a foreign minister over there too to go and, discuss the situation in Guinea, which is bordering on a fraudulent third term from a president. So he said these are Inconsistency. In ECOWAS leaders' situation, the approach hasn't been inconsistent. It hasn't been consistent. The approach is not consistent at all. You see, the approach is not consistent. Things are happening. They never come, en masse and say, this killings, this Boko Haram, let's look at it. We know it's France. They cannot say it's France. Anytime the people were pushed away as refugees from their local areas and indigenous areas, then behind is these multinationals mining. So-called Boko Haram hold them as hostage, at the front line. They cannot go over there to see what is going on. So big time mining is going on anywhere there is all these Boko Haram skirmishes and all this kind of wars and skirmishes going down. There's mining behind it, so that they want the local people to be they cause havoc in the lives of the local people. The local people run away. The soldiers cannot come. The national soldier cannot come. The national military cannot do anything because the so-called commander-in-chief is not supplying them what they're supposed to be supplied with. So now France have to be there. Americans have to be there on the ground. And guess what they will be doing behind those walls? Because they will quarantine the whole place. Nobody can come in. We are stabilizing the situation. Yeah, you stabilizing the situation. All right, you mining gold, mining oil, mining rare minerals. The people over here have to go. Fuck their farming. No farming, no nothing. Let them go because of Boko Haram. And we are here to tame Boko Haram. And while they are there taming Boko Haram, big machine, bulldozers are coming in. They have planes that can land. They don't need a runway. Planes that can take off. Big helicopters that can take off. Mining is going on. Our presidents knew it. They know about all these things, but they don't have the testicle to say in their face that France, you are the one who formed this Boko Haram. We know countries that formed when Soviet were in Afghanistan. Who is fighting them, and who founded the people who are fighting the Soviets? Later on, they became terrorists to us. But when Soviets were in Afghanistan, they were freedom fighters, founded by another nation to keep the Russians out of Afghanistan. And what the Russians were looking for in Afghanistan, other countries think, okay, now we have friends over there, we can also go and take it. And the people turn on them and say, no, you ain't coming to take no puppies over here. You're not coming to take anything out of here. Then they became terrorists. Same as ISIS, somebody founded them. Okay, so is Boko Haram. Whatever America is doing, France is doing. So France formed Boko Haram to legitimize its military presence in places where these skirmishes were going on. Okay, Nana Obiri Boahim is asking the question, can West Africa, ECOWAS, be consistent? Can they be consistent? Can they look into the matter? The way they rush when the fire is already started, they rush to go and quench it. Can they be consistent to quench this Boko Haram fire and look at it and make a big conference and call France and say, we anonymously calling you, France, to stop this terrorism? What are you afraid of? The war is no war on terror. The war is war on Nigeria. So Nigerian soldiers have to fight the war. The war is not war on terror. So Burkina Faso soldiers have to fight the war. Malians, can see through the, all the shenanigans. And they calling spade a spade. They know who is behind it. And they say enough of France bullshit, enough of it. And they're taking matter on their own hand. They have to, defend Mali. That is their job. It's not the job of anybody. It's not the job of even Russia. It's not the job of America. America don't call Russia to come and fight its wars, even if the war is far away. Europeans bind together, head by America, to fight wars that are in their interest. Africans bind together and fight this war. Nigerians bind together and fight this war. Burkinabes bind together and fight this war. Guineans bind together and fight this war. The war is coming from France. The war, this Boko Haram, is made by France, supported by France, for France's interests in Africa. That is mining your gold and diamond and other rare minerals behind enemy lines for free. For free! And cause havoc in the lives of ordinary Africans in these so-called nations. This is what is going on. This is what is going on. This is what is going on. Bye.